So this video is in response to a question that we got on creating complex geometry with EP3. And the question was, why can't you just use the sort of regular SketchUp tools and do something similar to the SketchUp to IESVE tutorial where you're just drawing regular SketchUp surfaces? And so a little bit later in the video, I'm actually going to recreate that drawing using EP3, and I've imported the drawing and set an approximate scale. But I'm going to hide that to start with, and what I want to do is just do a side-by-side comparison with some different types of geometry between using the EP3 tools and drawing the geometry in Native Sketchup. So let's start. We'll just enter a floor, and I'm just going to really loosely sketch something. All right, this is whatever it is. And now let's say I have a pitched roof that I want to add to this. And if I use the EP3 tools, I can copy the floor, I can set a roof elevation, maybe an overhang, and then a roof pitch, let's say 30-degree roof pitch. And it will automatically generate some roof geometry for me. And I can modify that geometry by, say, make this a dormer. If I want to, I can change some of this. So maybe this is a little flat roof here. And I can just go in and change some things about this geometry just using the Native Sketchup tools, but it's a separate object from that floor plan. And then in order to create the exterior walls, all I do is project the walls up to that roof surface, and it will do all of the intersections for me. So instead, let's copy and paste this floor plan into Native SketchUp. So I'm just going to select all of it and Control-C and then Control-V and paste it over here. So now I just have this loose geometry. And let's say I wanted to have the same roof shape. Okay, so if we're going to generate the same roof shape and using a similar format to the SketchUp to IESVE video, what we would do is we'd first push each space up. So I'm just going to push it up to this peak here so everything is tall enough. And push this one up. And push this one up. But already we have an issue. So if you notice in the SketchUp to IESVE video, they had the push tool working in sort of copy mode. So it generates the floor as well. So you have to catch that before you get too far. Otherwise, you may have to go back and redo a lot of work. Okay, so now we're actually pushing up, and you can see that we're maintaining that floor section. Okay, so next step is we need to create a pitch roof. So I can, what did we say this was? Well, put it at 3.58 meters, and I think it was 30 degrees. Okay, 6.58, and then $30. So let's draw that line. And then we can get this one by going across and going to the midpoint. Okay, so then we'd have to push and pull this shape. But we can only go back to there because then we hit this other wall. So we can keep going. This section of roof is going to be a flat roof here. And then we have a 30-degree pitch here. So you can see that generating this particular roof shape is taking quite a while, and we're also kind of losing different pieces as we go. We're generating some extra stuff. So I'm just going to ask you to take my word for it that when it's pitched roofs, this takes a lot longer. The next piece is that in EP3, let's say we made an error with one of the locations of the interior walls, or perhaps there's been a change. We're adding a space. Let's say there's a new space that goes from here to here, and so this wall gets removed. So right now our roof shape, if we look at where our zones are actually located, the roof surfaces are not aligning with the floor surfaces. But all we need to do to rectify that is regenerate those walls and allow it to do the intersections. And then we have the same roof shape with all of these intersections happening properly. Same thing if we actually need to change something about the roof itself. So I'm going to remove unnecessary edges. And now I can go in and make some changes to the actual roof itself. We're just going to do something a bit silly just to make a point. But let's say our roof changed, our architect got kind of funky and did something like this. Okay, so we have some very odd geometry, and all we need to do now, and let's see, I'm going to not delete these faces because I think, yep, it's this face right here. I don't want to delete that face. Now all we need to do to adjust the intersections and make sure that I have the right surfaces assigned to the right roof shape is to, again, just regenerate those walls. And here we go. So we have this space right here with some very, very odd geometry. And it's quite easy to make changes and edits as you go along with your project when you're using the EP3 framework. We also believe that you will draw your geometry faster using the EP3 framework. You could honestly, if you wanted to use EP3 and then go SketchUp to IES VE, all you would need to do is select these objects, copy, kind of paste them to somewhere in SketchUp, and then explode these groups. And now you have individual. Oh, we've lost the exterior walls somehow. But you can copy and paste this geometry and just use that loose geometry that you generated using EP3 and use the SketchUp to IES VE framework. Okay, so let's get rid of all of this and draw. We'll follow the IES VE tutorial and kind of draw these shapes. Okay, so we're going to create a new floor. And I'll toggle exterior geometry so I can see my drawing and just start drawing. Bottom line is that the EP3 drawing framework gives you really clear and accurate drawings, separating the floor from the roof surface and the exterior wall, and allowing the walls to be generated based on the floor surface and the roof surface means that if you make changes to one or the other, you can update the whole model very quickly. SketchUp has this thing where, once you've attached a surface to another surface and then you move it, it's kind of sticky, which can be fun, but it's not great for architectural drawing. So if all of your geometry is in one place and it's all sticking together, makes it quite difficult to redo anything and change just one little piece. Okay, so that's our floor plan. We'll generate a roof surface off of that floor. And I kind of want this floor outline in the roof shape. So I'm copying, I just did Control C. I'll go into the roof. And for now, I'm going to toggle off geometry. And then I'm going to Control V and just position it to overlay. So these guys each, I can pop up, let's say, we go up 2.5 meters. Oh, I like this distance. There we go. Let's make this one maybe 5 meters. So now we can use some of the same techniques that the SketchUp to IESVE video used to make these, except because we don't have those intersecting walls from the lower surfaces, we can just kind of get on with it. And I'm going to wait until I intersect my or position my walls before I do the windows, because I find that works quite a bit better. All right, so then in this section, they had a couple of round kind of towers, which we can also draw. And we can actually just kind of copy and paste those over to the other side as well. All right, so let's go ahead and project our walls. And there we go. So now we have each individual zone. And if we needed to do something like, for example, Well, first let's right click, remove unnecessary edges. And then if we needed to, say, change the pitch on this roof by moving this line up a little bit, all we need to do is re-project the walls. And it maintains all of that geometry and all of your interior geometry.